The recording has started. I will turn it over to you, Chair Ashby.
Okay, okay, thank you. Um, Good afternoon, everyone. This is the meeting of the Accessibility Subcommittee of the Transit Advisory Committee, and we are being recorded, so please be aware of that. Welcome to everyone. Today we have a full agenda here, but why don't we do introductions before we start the meeting? My name is Roseanne Ashby. I'm the chair of this accessibility subcommittee, and we have one other member, Kent. You want to introduce yourself? Uh-oh.
Thanks,
Kent?
Roseanne.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
are.
user, and I'm a Arlington resident, a star user, and I use a power wheelchair as well due to a spinal cord injury.
And there's just the two of us right now, but I understand we have 3 folks who are interested in becoming members. I'm very excited about that, and we'll talk about that later. Clinton, would you mind introducing the county staff that is around the table there?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll start with our bureau chief. I'll start with Ms. Rivers.
Good afternoon, everyone. Lynn Rivers, Transit Bureau Chief. Thank you.
Next up is Pierre Holloman. He is our assistant transit bureau chief. He is enjoying the meeting. He's off mute.
Yes, good evening. I'm Pierre Alleman, and I am Assistant Transit Chief, as Clinton noted.
All right, we'll move on to Paul.
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Meunier. I'm the service planner for the ARD system. And also, Clinton, could you bump up the size of the agenda a little bit?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I'm doing so right now. How's that?
Thank you, sir.
Josh R.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Josh Raby. I'm the intern in the Transit Bureau. Nice to be here.
Chair Ashby, I'll move it over to our contract staff. I'll move over first to Sheila Hill.
Hello. Good evening. I'm Sheila Hill with the Star General Manager.
Next up, Sabrina.
Good evening. My name is Sabrina Brown, and I'm the Operations Manager here at Arlington Star.
I'll go on to Robbie since I see him on the screen.
Hello. Hi. Robbie Worth with Diamond Transportation. We drive you. The contractor for the Star.
Thank you, Robbie. Ashley.
Hello, Ashley Fernandez, General Manager over at Diamond Transportation. We drive you in Highland, Virginia.
Miss Santana. Thank you, Ashley.
Hello, good evening. This is Tanya Santana. I'm the Area General Manager for We Drive You, Diamond Transportation.
Thank you, Tanya. Nick, go ahead.
Hey, my name is Nick Matthews. I am a manager over at Red Top Cab.
All right, and is there anyone else from Red Top that's here present? I don't recognize any of the names.
No, no one else could make it tonight.
Okay, thank you, sir. Chair Ashby, would you like me to go into the public that is joining us today?
Absolutely, please do.
All right, first up we have phone number that ends in 2724. Could you announce yourself, please?
Hi, Clinton. I'm Joseph DePhillips. I'm an Arlington Star user.
Mr. DePhillips, it's been a while. Good evening.
Good to hear your voice.
Likewise. All right, we have next Miss Judy Dixon.
afternoon. I'm Judy Dixon. I'm a longtime Star user and a recently retired federal employee who just can't stand not to go to meetings.
Congratulations on your retirement and thank you for joining us tonight, Judy.
Thank you.
Daniel Leslie.
There we go. Yeah, I'm Daniel Leslie. I swear I recognize Judy and Roseanne's voices. And I think I recognize Sheila's voice and Sabrina's voice. I think I've ridden with Roseanne and Judy many years ago on Star. So yeah, I've been using the Star since 2011 and enjoy using the service.
Excellent. We love to hear it, sir. Love to hear it. Thank you for joining us. Louis, I apologize. I missed you earlier, but I know you were with We Drive You. Could you introduce yourself? Louise?
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you now.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. I'm Luis. I'm the operations manager at We Drive You, Diamond Transportation at Highland, Virginia.
Thank you, Louise. Is there anyone else that I did not acknowledge? I feel like I've captured all of the accessibility subcommittee members, the members of the general public, and the operations staff. Anyone else? Miss Chair Aspie, I have captured all of the attendees. We're ready to move on.
Thank you so much, Clinton. This is terrific. And welcome to all the county staff. Welcome to the providers. I love seeing the Star staff here, Sabrina and Sheila and everybody from Diamond and Red Top. Thank you so much for coming. Also to members of the public, Judy and Daniel. Yes, I know you, Daniel. We have ridden together, and Judy and I go back a long ways. And, I welcome you both. Just so everybody knows, we have a period of public comment. People have 3 minutes to make any comments they choose to make. And so I'm going to open that up right now for public comment. We have 3 members of the public. Would anyone like to share any comments today? No comments. Well, we have plenty on the agenda, but I definitely welcome public comment at these meetings. One of the things I have said in my last meeting is that I am wanting to make this committee and its work transparent. I think that's very, very important. And we are a public service and we need to be transparent to the consumers. So, okay, well, since there's no public comment, let me review the agenda briefly. We have the approval of meeting notes. We've got some data about the July 2024 fare increases and rider data based on that. We have an update on the bus audio announcement issues that we discussed last time. We have an update on a microtransit study. The county staff wants to discuss updating the Star Rider Guide, and I don't know the details there, so we'll learn that together tonight. We're going to talk about additional subcommittee members. We have a Star RFP update and adjournment. So without any further ado, let's talk about meeting notes for a minute. Now, I know this one talks about reviewing the September meeting notes, and Kent and I definitely want to do that. We did approve the March and May meeting notes previously. However, there are still a few technical concerns we have. And one of the issues, and Clinton, I really do want to see if we can work something out here. If we get meeting notes drafted, maybe like Thursday, the week before the meeting, Kent and I, or anyone else who's on the committee, could review them quickly for little technical edits, so that when we come to the meeting, I'd like the notes to be in as good an order as we can have them. The problem is, because we get them very late, it's hard to do that. And I wonder if that's something that the county could take under consideration. If we could just get the draft notes from the previous meeting a little bit earlier, so that we could share any small concerns. Does that make sense to you?
Makes
And
perfect
Madam
sense.
Chairman,
Yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, it's Kent. We also need those in the Word doc form rather than PDFs, so we can track changes, and it's more accessible.
I struggle with some of your PDF documents, and I'll be honest with you. Right now, I have bigger computer issues, but I'm struggling with PDF documents. So I think we need to really revisit this. And if we do have other blind members on the committee, we need to make sure that everything is accessible for folks. So, but definitely a few days earlier. I was suggesting Thursday before the meeting would give us time maybe to get back to you. Okay. So but that seems reasonable, Clinton, to you, right?
Absolutely. Yes, it does.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we appreciate that. So let's just really quickly then, Kent, let's go over the technical edits for the March meeting first. We do see that you did do some research about where the comments came from regarding the zones. We were concerned about who said that we wanted to eliminate zone, the third zone or whatever, maybe the second zone trips. And but we still have a concern. Kent, can you summarize that for us, please?
Yes, thanks, Roseanne. We now have ascertained from the county staff that there were no comments from the public about zones. It just didn't exist, and yet the county in its summary document and elsewhere probably said that due to feedback from the initial engagement in the fall of 22, I think it was, it said that due to that feedback, zones was a topic that needed to be discussed. This idea that our own community, that riders are bringing up such a critical, essential issue as eliminating a zone, it goes to the heart of what Roseanne mentioned earlier, and that's transparency in how we are making recommendations from the county staff to the county board to the county manager. And that's our function here, is to understand not only what the county staff is doing, but to learn from the community what's on their minds, what their problems are, what the opportunities are from it. But excuse me, just a minute. Let me get some water.
I think what we're trying to say is, if this was a county proposal, we'd like it to be attributed as such. If it did not come from a consumer, and I think that it's worded in such a way that it's unclear in that March document.
Right. So that's true. That's a shortcut. But my point I was getting to is, when things like this happen, when it was misattributed to the consumer, to the star rider, to the taxpayers in Arlington County, that gives it more weight, and it's disingenuous to suggest that in county documents. I mean, it's just simply not true. Further, we need to see the data on reliability and I forget what the other service delivery, I believe, was the other data point that caused this leap for the county staff. Somebody, we don't know who in the county staff, to bring up the idea of eliminating zones. I mean, it just, it's not a logical from point A to point B that you immediately go to eliminating the zones because there are problems with reliability in service delivery. So
may I interject?
Sure.
Yes, Clinton.
So I will start off that as the Transit Bureau, it is our responsibility to make sure that the services are delivered efficiently on the fixed route and the paratransit side, and that people can get where they need to go, how they need to get there. Currently on the fixed route side, we are making schedule adjustments to improve on-time performance so that the passengers can get where they need to go and take the trips they need to do on a timely manner. However, similarly on the paratransit side, during the course of these public engagements, no passenger outright said we should eliminate zone 1, 2, or 3. However, it was resoundingly clear from the passengers that they want to be able to get to their destinations on time, that they want to be able to be picked up in a timely manner. And so when we have services that go all the way out into the zone 3, that reduces our ability to be able to deliver those services in a timely manner. So because we heard from what the public said about wanting services to be delivered, that was an option that we looked into to be able to say, okay, the passengers told us they want on-time services. So how can we deliver those services more on time? We're doing that on the fixed route side, and we're also looking at how to make passengers trips better and more efficient on the specialized transportation side as well. And so maybe that is a lever that we could pull to look to be able to do that. So if we're looking for a passenger that outright said, please eliminate zone 3, we're not going to find that in the document. But we did take that operational challenges passengers have expressed their concern and looked at maybe that being a lever that we can pull to make the service more efficient, because again, it is our responsibility as the Transit Bureau to provide on-time and efficient paratransit and fixed route services.
So Clinton, what I would like, go ahead, Ken, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah. The leap that you just made, Mr. Edwards, is exactly what I'm talking about, because you have to have data to substantiate that. And you don't, that I know of, that we haven't seen.
I mean, I won't point to the providers that are on the phone, but we have the Star Call Center, and both providers on the phone, and I'm sure they could say without a shadow of doubt they hear frequently from passengers that they want their services to be on time and to get picked up without excessive wait time. So we do not feel like that was a leap completely.
Well, there are other ways to deliver services than cutting zones, is what
Absolutely.
I'm saying.
There are other ways, yes.
And that is absolutely right. And we did not have any zones cut. So what I'd like to propose, because I don't want to belabor this, but I would like those minutes in March to be clarified with some of the language that you explained, that this is the county's response to the concerns that you heard regarding timeliness of service, and it was something that you were exploring. I would be okay with that if it's properly attributed. I could live with that for purposes of these minutes. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You know.
Absolutely.
Kent, I don't know if you agree with me or not on this, but
in principle I do, but I want to see the language. Yes, as you do, I'm sure, Roseanne.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what we're trying to get at here. Other than that, I think the March minutes were okay. Where was that? Oh, go ahead.
Can I say one more thing on this topic before we leave it, Roseanne?
Sure, sure.
Mr. Edwards, when you start talking about cutting zones, you're talking about cutting into the livelihoods and lives of people, taxpayers in Arlington County, people who are trying to get to jobs, people who are trying to get to medical appointments, etc. And so this leap that you take in cutting zones, bringing even zones up as a discussion point, causes stress, anxiety unduly on people, and that's not right.
It would fundamentally alter the program. I mean, it is a very, very fundamental change.
Absolutely,
for sure.
absolutely. And it's nothing that we take for granted. It's nothing we enjoy doing, and it's nothing we want to put out there. We would like to run services all over. I mean, you can look at the fixed route side for the changes that were required for the budget that started off on July the 1st, where we had to eliminate 2 routes and then merge another 2 routes together. So we ended up going from 16 fixed routes to 14. So none of us on this call absolutely want to reduce transit services. There's no way, shape, or form any of us are out here looking for ways to do that. However, in order to deliver services more efficiently, we have to look at all possible opportunities each time. So,
and then as Kent said, we'd like to see the data that is prompting you to say those things. So, and we haven't seen that data yet. So that's the reality.
I believe Rocco provided the raw data from the past two. I'd have to look back, but I believe he provided the raw redacted data from the past two public engagements so that you all could review that. I'd look back, but I'm pretty sure he did.
But I'm talking about timeliness and efficiency and some of that kind of data. Yeah, I think we did get the public engagement data. My only point is, before we, consider or, begin to discuss these things in serious fashion, we need to have data to discuss it with. So, but as I say, I don't want to belabor this because we have a full agenda, but I'd like to see those changes made in the March minutes. Now, in the May minutes, was that, Kent, was that where the quote of the 55,000 versus the 27,000, was that in the May minutes or was that in September?
In September, right.
Okay.
So you want me to address that now, Roseanne?
Yeah, let's talk about the September minutes. I guess maybe we're okay with the May minutes at this point. Did you have anything else?
Well, we'll look at the language when they redo it.
Yeah. The March minutes, though, are the ones where that language was in, I think, the other that we just discussed. So, okay, yes. Go ahead.
March and May, I believe, Roseanne.
Okay.
So, in the September minutes, and Clinton, you may recall this, we had in the minutes, or at one point, I asked, what was the revenue to be obtained from the Star fare increases, and I remembered that it was 55,000 for the full increase of 25%, and so we divided it into 27,500,000, which was what the actual fare increase was, because you did the 12.5 increase. That was the discussion. So if we could accurately put that in the minutes.
Yes, if you look under May 14th meeting notes approval, it is the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th bullet point. You will see that you had quoted a figure of 55,000. It was actually 27,500.
But the way it looks, the way it reads, it looks like I made a mistake. I didn't make a mistake. I pointed out to you about the 55,000, and then we decided jointly that together, yes, half of the increase would be 27,500. You see what I'm saying? The way it reads, it looks like I said it was 55,000.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah. So we want to clarify, this was not a statement that Kent made. So if you want to discuss this offline, I just want to make sure we accurately capture what Kent said.
Yes, I think that it would be in the best interest of our time if any of these meeting notes from the past meetings, if we to capture the language properly, that we take this in an offline discussion.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, like I say, we did approve them. I would like to see them fixed, and I want to see them posted quickly. Now going to the September meeting minutes, I do want to compliment you all on one thing. These minutes were much more fully fleshed out. And I did ask that. I said, can you please put more into your minutes? And they were much more informative. So I really do appreciate those September minutes because I think they will be meaningful to members of the public who happen to read them. Kent, do you have other comments on the September minutes?
Yes, very quickly. You pointed out, Mr. Edwards, in a email to us that the microtransit grant was for 70,000, not 150. So that needs to be changed in the minutes.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Then there's a couple of typos that I found that I'll send you. And the comment that I made about microtransit and the STAR program was, whoever took the note said that Mr. Keyser expressed that Arlington Transit Program should qualify as a microtransit service. Well, while I do believe that, that's not actually what I said. What I said was that Star Riders have been promised for over a decade that the what would we call them? The characteristics, the components of the proposed microtransit system would come to the STAR program. So if we could reword that, that would be more accurate.
One other thing that I noticed, there was a representative of Red Top at the September meeting. I'm sorry, I don't recall the gentleman's name, but we want to make sure that he is acknowledged as being present in the attendee list. I don't think his name was there. Okay. And again, Clinton, these are the kinds of things, this is why I'm suggesting if we saw the meeting minutes a little earlier, we could kind of deal with these little technical things outside of this meeting, and it might be more productive.
Yeah, let's have a discussion. Let's have a discussion soon on how to get you all what you need in regards to the minutes so that we're not making these these grammatical errors and modifications, because I know that Rocco literally listens to the recording and just types off of what he has the recording when he's pulling these minutes together. So but let's have that discussion.
And this is not a criticism of him. I mean, this is hard. This is hard to do. So I respect that, and I do appreciate the effort. And let's just see if we can tune it up a bit. I would like to propose that we do similar to what we did with May and March, that we approve the September minutes pending some technical correction. Kent, can you, how do you feel about that?
That's fine.
Okay, all right. So let's move on, and we will take that conversation offline because we do have quite a bit of other things to talk about here. The next item deals with the July 2024 fare increase. And I was asking last time that there be comparison data provided so that we could see if the fare increase had an impact on the ridership, the numbers. What we received was a table that talked about data from July, August, and September, but it didn't show the previous 3 months, as a basis of comparison. So I don't know. I don't know what this data means. I don't know what the significance is because there's no basis for comparison. So that would be my comment on this. Does that make sense?
Yes. So you all were looking for a comparison of July, August, and September data of 2023 compared to 2024.
No, I was actually thinking April, May, and June of 2024 before the fares increased, and then the 3 months after when the fares hit and when people were paying more for the service. And I was concerned that people would not be able to use the service as much because the fares went up. I mean, that was my concern, honestly. Kent, does this seem like reasonable
Yes,
to you, or what should we ask?
No, I agree. I agree completely, Roseanne.
Okay.
I mean, if you wanted to use the prior year 3 months as well, that's perfectly fine. The more data we have, the better we can compare, I think.
We're concerned because many people with disabilities are on limited incomes, and the fare increases, although they don't seem large, perhaps, to some people, they can be significant if someone is taking long trips for medical purposes or for employment. So I want us to be sensitive to that. I will say that Metro Access caps their trips. They have all of their trips be the same fare. So yes, these fares reflect the ADA requirement of no more than twice, right? The fixed route. I understand that, but we might want to look at this again. I'm just concerned about it. So if we could have that data, that'd be helpful.
All right, so you're looking for the April, May, and June 2024 data.
Before the fare increased, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't think that.
And I don't know, maybe Ms. Rivers could answer this. Is this something that the county staff does after a fare increase to see the effects on transit and paratransit? And if not, why not?
Yes, we do. And then I raised my hand because Kent, I think you actually mentioned it. We should be looking at both the previous year and the previous months that Roseanne mentioned as well, because ridership can tend to be seasonal or monthly. If you look at what ridership might look like in April versus July, it could be different. So looking at both 2023 and 24 prior to and after the fare increase would give you a good comparison.
Well, that would be wonderful. And
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But does the county routinely do that?
Yes, we constantly look at the fare. I mean, not fare increases. We constantly look at what the ridership is and do comparisons. So absolutely. So you should have gotten both. You should have gotten 2023 comparisons and what we always provide as well. Hopefully you're able to get the information that we provide with ridership data for comparison, but we'll do a better job in getting that to you.
This is Daniel Leslie. Could I ask a question?
Briefly, yes. The time for public comment is not now, but you can ask a quick one. Yeah.
Sure. This is more just a question on the ridership. You probably don't see this, Roseanne, but Clinton, I believe, has pulled up a chart of star ridership over 2024, and it looks like there's a low of about 4,000 in January, a peak in April of a little over 4,800, a trough in June at about 4,100, and then July goes it back up to about 4,500, and August continues to be about 4,500. I also see here that there's an opportunity to change the calendar year. Clint, is it possible to change it to 2023? If it is, we can tell people what those numbers were for 2023 really quick, just so people have a reference. Oh, these are all the years? Okay.
So the star ridership is having some level of a technical difficulty. These are the star completed trips. When you're actually looking at the years. So
Looks like, yeah, if we could do 2023 to 2024, can we get 2023 and 24 up at the same time, or it won't let us do that? That's okay. I didn't want to slow anybody down, but I saw an opportunity to give people the information right in real time.
I appreciate that. No, I appreciate that, Daniel. That was very helpful. And you know, let's just put this on the agenda for the next time as well, and we can have another presentation about it. But I think now you all understand the concerns that we're trying to raise here. Appreciate you're working on that. Okay.
Wonderful. Always happy to help.
Thank you. Can we move on now to the next? Can someone give me a time check, because I don't have a time check. Thank you. Okay. And if we need to move past 6, we will, but I do try to keep these meetings within some semblance of time. You know, I try to consider that. Okay, we need to talk about the bus audio announcements. We discussed this issue last time. Bus announcements are sometimes too loud, too soft, absent, and there's an update, I believe. Who's going to be giving that update?
Yes, I have just a brief update on that, Chair Ashby. During the month of September and October, we were having a issue with the brand new 15 Gillick buses where the audio was too loud. So we were able to review all of the buses in the fleet, and we were able to reduce the volume to a lower decibel on those 15 new Gillick buses. And during the review of all of the buses, we were able to review the audio on the remainder of the fleet, the remaining 63 buses. And so we set that to a set standard across the fleet that it can't be controlled by the bus operator. It's set by the technology. And we reviewed all the audios, all of the technology to make sure the speakers were working properly. And so now we have it set across the system where audio announcements will be playing for the entire fleet at a decibel that is appropriate for all persons that need to utilize public transit.
Okay, so then if we do not hear announcements, we need to report that, because you're telling me that they should be operational now. Is that right?
Absolutely. We had county and contractor staff at various checkpoints all around the county just standing at the bus stop to see if the announcement was working within the system. Then we went over to the garages, and then we did an update across the entire system through the technology just to make it. But if you do if you are utilizing any buses where the audio is not working, please report that so that we can get that bus checked out, because we have to have the buses on the street that announce the audios at the stops.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's very good. I'm glad to hear that you all did that work. And I will want, on a future meeting agenda, I do want to have, especially once we get our additional subcommittee members involved, I'd like to have some more discussion of art and the accessibility of art, because remember, that is one of our mandates. It's not just STAR. I do know we spend a lot of time on STAR, but we should not forget the buses. They need to be accessible. So anyway, but thank you. This answers the immediate question, I think. Okay.
Roseanne, one more point on that.
Yes.
Mr. Edward, would it be possible for us to put an announcement in the art newsletters and online about reporting audio problems?
That's a good
We
idea.
have the existing customer service line that persons can either call into when they have an issue with the issue or a compliment or a complaint about the fixed route service or the paratransit service. So we have that opportunity that's on board, and they can do that online and also calling in on that.
Right. But what I was thinking was when things haven't worked for a number of months or years, and then suddenly they're supposed to be working, people become numb to things not working. So if we could just do a little reminder to people that if things are not working on the audio in the bus system, that they should report that. Maybe you could do a positive announcement. Hey, we've done this review, and the audio should be working now. But if it's not, please let us know.
Okay, let's flush that out a little bit more. I know we need to have another meeting about the minutes or the meeting notes, but let's flush that out a little bit more to see how we can capture that.
I agree. We again and to be transparent, and we want to get the word out when things are going well and when people have options for addressing a concern. So yes.
Yeah, so
we'll
we'd
do
have
that.
to keep it general. If they
Yeah, I understand.
basically
I
see
understand.
something, say something, or keeping it general. So we just need to flush out how that verbiage would be
Right.
pulled together.
Exactly. Okay, we'll do that. Okay. I next see on the agenda an update of the micro transit study. Who is going to be giving that?
Paul Monnier is going to be giving that presentation.
Okay.
All right. Is everybody able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Yes, I am going to try to make this as brief as possible. There is a lot on the agenda tonight, so I want to go through this very quickly. Wait, this is not the way. Let me see. One moment, please. I'm sorry. This way. I apologize.
It's 5:45 p.m. Do you want me to continue with another item while you're doing that?
I think I think I have it now. I apologize for the
Okay.
for the
No
delay.
problem. No.
Just looking for one more button. There we go. Again, I apologize. I know we have a lot to get through. Okay. There we go. All right. So a very quick update on the microtransit planning. This is an implementation plan. The studies have been done. 2016 Transit Development Plan, the Arlington Strategic Plan that we finished last year. And this effort that we're going through right now is to work up technical language for a procurement to have a microtransit pilot ready to go, hopefully in late summer of this coming year. As we went through this on the screen, there are two columns. One talks about developing service model options. The other talks about evaluating options. The first part is about program design, vehicle type, vehicle contract, fuel type, operator, contract, service type, education and promotion, customer service, wheelchair accessibility, and paratransit commingling. These are things that we looked at. For the pilot, I would, we do want to look at some type of low emissions vehicle, but we may have to go with fuel sedans. That is going to be fleshed out more in the negotiations once we have a contractor. Also, I know that paratransit commingling was considered, but not for this pilot. That may be something that we look at in the future. Then the program operations, the booking method of payment, fare structure, operation hours, and transfer policies. Just evaluating how the system would work and explaining to people how to use the system. As we evaluate these options in the second column, we're looking at capital and operating costs, customer experience, the ease of implementation, scalability and flexibility, and interoperability. Interoperability talks about how it functions with the rest of the transit system, and very important is the customer experience as we get closer to the pilot and begin the pilot, reaching out to people, educating them, and also receiving feedback as the pilot is underway. So a summary of our key recommendations. The zone design and operations, the ATSP identified a 2.5 mile square zone in the northwest part of Arlington. But there have been some refinements to provide connections to nodes of high capacity transit, community facilities, and lower income residential areas. As I said, we're exploring using low or zero emission vehicles, provide seamless connections to other forms of transit, and service will initially operate weekdays with a potential for expansion to weekends. That may be just as an example, as an expansion that could be span of service, or looking at other areas. But that is one that we have identified as something, if it's working well, that we could do quickly. Some additional summary of recommendations. Program procurement and management. We're looking to procure a contractor to operate a turnkey microtransit service. The reason, so instead of like us buying vehicles and taking on all the responsibility, Arlington County would be oversight. The contractor would provide the technology, the vehicles, and the operators. It'd be very similar to the model we use with ART right now. Monitor and pilot performance according to a set of metrics that address customer experience, cost effectiveness, and service utilization. The next is engagement. It's proposed to be conducted prior to and throughout the pilot. As I said, as we get closer to the start of the pilot, there would be a focus on education and awareness. And then throughout the pilot, the engagement will focus on continued education and receiving feedback from users and stakeholders. So we would be using quantitative metrics to evaluate the performance, and we would be speaking to the community to see how well it's being received and how the customer experience is. So zone design and operation, where can people ride? That's a big question. When does service operate? How will people book and pay trips, book and pay for the service, and what transfers can be made? Some of these questions are still outstanding that we're working through, but we do have a map of the proposed zone and service with some of the hubs that I mentioned earlier. So on this slide, this says proposed zone design, and to the right side is a map with a red outline that is bounded by Langston Boulevard to the south, Glebe Road to the east, and the county line to the north and the west. There are 4 hubs that we have identified: the East Falls Church Metro Station, Virginia Hospital Center, the Ballston Metro Station, and the Madison Community Center. We also were exploring adding to the Westover zone, as we did hear from this group, and we did receive comments through our customer comment section. We're exploring this. You can see it's shown as a zone, particularly because of we don't want to encourage node to node service. That means that if someone comes to Falls Church and wants to get to Ballston Metro, we do not want them taking the paratransit. There's a rail system and several buses that go there. There are 2 buses that go to Virginia Hospital Center. We want to discourage the zone-to-zone travel, but allow people from in the zones that don't have a very connective service to be able to serve those zones. I did see a question come up. So no service on Saturday. So the reason we have decided not to start out with service on the weekends is that the services in this area were weekday peak period services. So the 53, which was the main generator that left this area, went in the peak periods in the morning from about 6 to 9 or 11, 10 or 11, I can't remember exactly, and then in the afternoon starting about 3 till about 6. So there will be that service, and actually a little more, because this will be a full day service. But as I said, we do have the weekends on our radar as a potential expansion, depending on how well the pilot goes. And that is all I have. As I said, we are working on the technical language that is going to go into the procurement. We are going to work on that through about mid-December. We are going to put that together. Right now, I think we are still anticipating a full RFP. So we would have the technical language written, and then getting out the procurement, however we're doing it, like I said, planning on an RFP at this time, early to mid-January, and then starting hopefully late summer of 2025. So if there are any questions, I can take questions now.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Paul. Ken, do you have questions about Paul's presentation?
I do. If we could go back up to the top where you mentioned paratransit commingling and said that was not going to be part of this. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Essentially that would mean that the paratransit and the microtransit would, paratransit trips could be taken on the microtransit service. But this is going to be 2 contracts right now, just based on the way that we are procuring the STAR contract and procuring this contract. So the problem with that is we're going to have most likely, almost certainly, 2 separate contractors running these services, and trying to coordinate that would be very difficult. Not impossible, but as a pilot, we did want to start with just microtransit as it is, and then in the future we could look to integrate the systems if that was desired, if it makes sense.
So can I give you a scenario?
Okay.
There's a wheelchair user in the zone who wants to go to Virginia Hospital Center, and they also are a Metro Access member, and they want to take the micro transit service, and they can do that, correct?
Absolutely. I think
and because it's a substitute bus service, they don't have to pay a fee, correct?
The fares have not been determined as of yet, as far as what microtransit. Where we are shooting for right now is that there will be a fare associated with microtransit. That fare is yet to be determined.
But it's substitute service for the bus service, which for Metro Access members there is no fare, correct?
For the microtransit service will have a fare. The mode of transportation that person chooses to use would be their determination. But if they were to catch art, there's a fare for art. If they catch Star, there's a fare for art. But the fare
not if
structure
you're a
for Metro Access is
if you're a Metro Access card holder. I'm not sure what the terminology is. I should know that. But there is no fare that you pay on art or Metro.
Or Metro Rail. Yeah, that's correct. That is correct.
You were aware of that, Mr. Edwards, right?
There is a free fare for people that are certified in Metro Access to ride Metro Bus and Metro Rail.
Yes, Metro Bus,
right.
Metro and art. And art.
And art.
Yeah.
And art. So that is a free fare. Okay, so we have been talking about that because the fare is going to be higher than the regular bus. Now, we have discounted fares for different people throughout the county, and we want to make sure that that is consistent, or for different groups in the county, we want to make sure that's consistent. So a student may pay half of the regular fare because that's what they do on Art Bus, but it's a higher fare. So it would still be half the fare, but a higher fare. I think we need
students with disabilities don't pay a fare, correct?
If you have a disability and you're certified through Metro Access, then there would be no fare.
Well, what's the program for students in Arlington County? I forget the name of it, but it's a fare free.
It's
iRide program.
The iRide program, and they are free if they are using a Metro iRide card, which is essentially a Smart Trip card with branding on it. If you do not have your iRide card and you have a student ID, then you pay $1. I think it's $1.10 now because of the fare increase, but you would pay $1.10. You would have a reduced fare.
Okay, so students with the iRide card would pay no fee in the microtransit, right?
No, we are looking at that right now. It is going to be a reduced fare, but I do not think we're going to have them be free, at least to start out with, because we want to make sure that we aren't overwhelming this service right from the beginning. Right now, and I think this goes back to the Saturday, we don't want to overwhelm the system. We want to get an idea of how well it operates, what kind of costs are associated with it, and what kind of capacity we have before we jump, with both feet into the deep end. So again, I want to emphasize this is a pilot, and there is absolutely opportunities for expansion, and some of these details are still being worked out in the technical discussions.
Okay, and then my second, can I ask a second question, Roseanne?
Yes, of course. Mm-hmm.
It seems to me that with two contracts and two providers, that you're duplicating services.
To an extent, I agree with that. Obviously, it would have been better for us if we were negotiating these contracts at the same time, because we could look at a single provider system. But the STAR contract was being negotiated well before we started the implementation of this, and unfortunately that wasn't included as part of the contract. Again, in the future, it can be reevaluated, contracts can be amended. It depends on what happens with that. Also, paratransit operators are trained to handle people with disabilities. The microtransit operators aren't going to have the same level of training. It's a slightly different service. It's a microtransit system where it isn't necessarily going to be curb to curb. There may be virtual bus stops in the neighborhoods. You can go to the hub. We're going to find out where we have drop-off areas and things like that. So I wouldn't say these are one-to-one comparisons, but they are very close. And I do agree there would have been some efficiency had we been able to procure these together.
Well, has anybody looked at the STAR contract to see if it could be amended?
We are not able to talk about the STAR contract. It is under procurement review, and we have both contractors online right now, so we can't go into that this evening.
Well,
Okay, but anyway,
who would
go ahead.
Who would be able to answer that?
That would have to come from the county procurement office.
Okay.
But putting that aside, it sounds like we need to discuss the fair options for people with disabilities who use this microtransit. It sounds like that's not a done deal, and we need some additional discussion around it, and perhaps some legal advice. And well, I would just say some legal.
The fair discussion has not been concluded as of yet, and we will have an update for you all later. We're just providing an update on this at this point because we haven't got to the point that we are ready to put this out as a request for proposals for an operation. So all of those details are still to be worked out. As you can see on the slide here, the program design, we're still working through all of those parameters and logistics for this pilot.
Okay. I guess what I want to, I'm sorry, I apologize. What I wanted Clinton to hear and Paul to hear is that we do have some concerns about fares and consistency for people with disabilities who are accessing this. Although it's a pilot, it is public transit, and I have some concerns too about consistency across the board.
And driver training.
Yep. So, all right. I'm going to move us forward only because we are short of time. Now, Clinton, you have on the agenda updating of the Star Rider Guide, and I wonder what the county has been thinking about this particular topic.
Our thoughts for bringing this topic to the accessibility subcommittee this evening is that we know there's been a lot of discussion around that. And so what we're looking for from you all are your suggestions. I believe that you all have been provided the Word document of that. What we will be doing with this Star Rider Guide, with this operational document, is that once a contractor is identified through this contracting procurement process, the guide will have to be updated to reflect the operations going into calendar year 2025. So one thing that we will have to do once a provider is selected is to make modifications to the user's experience to match that operation. Given as such, we are asking of the accessibility subcommittee your thoughts and any feedback that you have on the existing document. Know that you've received the Word document, and so we are just looking for your feedback and consideration as we look to make those updates.
Okay, well, what I'd like to propose, because of course we don't know, the contract has not been renewed or let at this point, right? But we will look at the guide. And I am very, it kind of brings on another topic. The new members of our subcommittee, I would like to involve them in a discussion of the Star Rider Guide. I'm hopeful that they will be appointed this evening. And if that's the case, I will convene a special meeting that we can discuss the Star Rider Guide, because this is very, very important. This is really the critical document for the operations of this program. So we do need to look at it, and I appreciate the opportunity to provide input, but I would say if we can get you some thoughts certainly by our January meeting, perhaps we can come up with something beforehand. Does that meet your timelines?
Your thoughts, we would need your thoughts well before then.
All right, when do you need them?
I would say by the end of this month would be
Okay,
ideal.
well, let's do this. That doesn't give us a lot of time. But hopefully we can look at it and we will work on something, but that really does not give us much time at all. I mean, given that Thanksgiving is right around the corner too. So talking about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. So I appreciate the opportunity. And like I say, I would love to involve the new members of the subcommittee in this activity. It's a very important activity.
Absolutely.
And furthermore, you know, at some point we've got to get public comment on this too. So I think we really need to think about process here. This, I'm a little surprised at at how quickly you need something from us. I don't know, Kent, what do you think?
Well, I agree completely with your assessment. And I'm a little bit confused because I thought that we had discussed the parameters of the contract and that operationally it was pretty much same as it is today. The prospective contract is the same operations as it is today. I think there was one addition about payment.
The
Is that not
discussion
correct?
the discussion that we have had is that the spirit of the feedback we received during the 2 feedback sessions that we had last fall and in the winter would be made sure to be integrated into the scope of the proposal. How the proposers and the respondents receive that information from the scope will then determine how the Star Rider Guide will pan out. And just reiterating that this, of course, is an operations focused document based on the contract we have in place. So the contractor that is awarded that operation will then be pushed throughout the Star Rider Guide.
I understand, and we don't have a time frame for when this is going to occur.
Yes, we do not have a time frame for when this is going to occur because the procurement is still ongoing.
Right. I understand and I respect that. I'm just trying to figure out how we can provide meaningful input in a process where the goal line is being moved. I'm feeling pretty frustrated with that right now, and not allowed a lot of time for input, and not even knowing like what the changes are. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I absolutely 100% understand exactly where you are. And it is very challenging, given that it's an active procurement, to have any reasonable discussion without compromising the integrity of the procurement.
Right.
So I absolutely wholeheartedly feel it because it's hard. It's hard to give feedback on something that you're not sure what the operation is going to be. But of course, again, this is that operational document. So we just any general feedback that you all have until that the procurement concludes.
Okay, but once it concludes, will there not be a period of time where we can still have input into the operations under the new contract, under the new rules?
There would be a period of time that feedback could be received, yes. I can't give you a schedule because I don't have the schedule of the existing to the.
Right. Here's what we can do. We can work with the existing guide and we can give you some comments. But the comments will be enhanced for sure when we know what exactly comes out on, what is awarded. That makes sense, and we will continue to work with you on creating something that will work for people with disabilities.
Mm-hmm. And we may be able to extend the amount of time. I know I originally said November. That was me just looking at the calendar and how we are approaching the end of the existing contracts. So we could actually possibly extend that till the month of December, but that just depends on how we go as far as when the procurement is completed.
I understand. Kent, do you have anything more on this? I don't know what more I can say right now.
Well, I'm just totally confused.
Yeah, I mean, we can look at the guide, certainly, but any comments we give now are subject to change depending on what we actually see coming out of this process that they're going through. That's my concern.
That is correct.
Well, the contract operations, how do they differ from current operations?
I cannot discuss that as it is an active procurement.
Well, the procurements, but wait, just a minute, if I could, Roseanne.
Sure.
I'm not asking you to divulge anything that's not in public. What I'm asking you is the proposed contract. How does it differ in services from current operations?
As far as providing paratransit services will continue to be provided to Arlington County residents in Zone 1, 2, and 3.
Right. So there's no difference, correct?
There would be nuanced difference depending on the proposers, how they look at delivering those services. And I know this is frustrating. Absolutely, it's frustrating. I can't give you a direct answer, again, because it's an active procurement. However, once a determination is made, we could have a different type of conversation.
Yeah.
But you're speculating you're speculating that there are going to be nuances and differences, correct?
I cannot answer that question, unfortunately.
Okay, look, at this point, I'm sure we have your agreement that the minute you know that you can speak to us about this, you will do so, because our comments will be more relevant to the process if we understand if something has changed or how it's changed or whatever, but we will start working on this thing. But as I say, you'll let us know immediately when we can discuss it in a more open and productive way, right, Clinton?
Yes, absolutely. And what I will do is that I will touch base have a follow-up with you. I know we have several follow-ups we need to have between now and the January meeting, and talk with our procurement office to see what additional information that can be shared.
Yeah. Please do that. Please do that. I don't want to interfere with your processes, but I do want to provide meaningful input. So.
Okay. I'll add that as a follow-up. I know we have several things we need to touch base on between now and our January meeting.
Right. Okay, let me move on quickly. We have 3 additional subcommittee member applications. 2 folks are here on the call tonight. We also have a woman named Cynthia Johnson Oliver. It is my sincere hope that all 3 of these folks will be appointed to our subcommittee. So I'm actually hopeful that will happen tonight. and that we will welcome them immediately to look at the Star Rider Guide. So that is, I don't know if there's anything else we need to say. We do have 2 additional openings on this subcommittee, and I appreciate that the STAR office has reached out to the STAR users and solicited committee members. That was very helpful, very helpful. So, okay,
I would just echo your thanks to people's willingness to help serve.
And so I think we've covered the RFP update then, correct? There's nothing more on that. Is that right, Clinton?
Madam Chair, you are correct. There's nothing more on that.
Okay, so Kent, do you have any other items of new business that we need to address right now?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. We will adjourn. I need to ask Clinton a favor. I need the phone number and access information, if you wouldn't mind calling me after this call for the 7 p.m. meeting. I don't have my computer working right now, but if you could call me, you have my phone number, correct?
Yes, ma'am. I will call you as soon as we end this recording and conclude.
And Kent, do you need the access information for the 7 p.m. meeting as well?
Is it in the agenda of the TAC, Mr. Edwards?
Yes, it is. It's in the agenda right on the TAC webpage.
I'll be able to get it there.
Okay, thank you so much, because I will not be the whole meeting. Okay, then I think we are adjourned.
All right, Ms. Ashby, so you don't need me to call you. Can Mr. Kaiser get it over to you?
Was
I can.
I was asking, you can do it? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah,
You'll
I can do
it.
that, Roseanne.
That's perfect. Thank you so
I
much.
always enjoy talking with you.
I know, I enjoy that too. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. I think we have some very important issues we're beginning to discuss here, and I appreciate everybody's patience and input. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.
Okay.